Episode 8, The Great Unplugging of 2026. My GHD sizzles as I carefully glide each section of my hair through, getting ready for a night out. I grab the center part of my hair, twirling it through to create the perfect quiff, then secure it with a bobby pin. The year is 2008. There's no get ready with me video and no outfit of the day photo, just me and the classic late 2000s quiff hairstyle. I reach for my purse, or my clutch as we called it back in the day, and pop in a few essentials: my pink Sony Cybershot camera, lip gloss, and my BlackBerry. My mobile phone in 2008 for any listeners who might not know. I throw on my coat and quietly slip past my parents on the way out the door. "What can I get you?" the bartender shouts over the music. "Bailey's on the rocks, please," I reply. I take my drink and join my friends on the dance floor. M.I.A.'s Paper Planes pulses through the club. This was a usual Friday night for me in my late teens, and I loved every minute of it. I pulled out my Sony Cybershot to capture the moment, then tuck it away in my bag. Throughout the night, I catch up with friends from different social circles and snap a few fun photos. The next day, I plug in my camera to my laptop and upload the photos from the night before. I smile as I flick through the grainy, flash-lit memories. I log into my Facebook, upload the photos to my 2008 album, and head out to meet friends. That evening, after dinner, I log back into Facebook and check my notifications. I laugh at the comments from friends reminiscing about the night before. Late 2008 was a different time. Moments were lived, then documented, then shared. There was a pause between experience and exposure. Instagram hadn't launched yet, and apps weren't part of everyday life. The digital world was something we came home and logged into a computer, not something that followed us around in the palm of our hand. Fast forward to today, and the idea of a night out without a phone feels almost radical. But that reality might be closer than we think, and it's what some are calling the Great Unplugging of 2026. Here we are, 2025, and the social media landscape looks unrecognizable to what I'd experienced back in its early introduction during the late 2000s. Research shows that on average, 120,000 posts are made on social media each minute, and 95 million posts and videos are shared on Instagram each day. The demand for attention is constant, relentless, and has become a 24-hour marketplace. Recently, I came across a post from Gary Vee, one of the earliest voices to champion digital entrepreneurship, predicting a major cultural shift on the horizon, the Great Unplugging of Gen Alpha. But he also points out it won't be just them. The ripples could be felt across every generation, from millennials to boomers, who've all grown weary of social media. Gen Alpha is the term used to describe the generation born between 2010 and 2024. They are highly tech-savvy, but also increasingly showing interest in digital detoxes and real-world experiences. This generation is particularly relevant in this conversation around digital detoxing because they are the first generation to grow up entirely in a digital world. They've grown up watching their parents and older siblings on their phones, the curated lives, the anxiety, and the constant need to perform. Of course, the shift to be expected with the unplugging isn't exactly new. We've all heard stories of friends and celebrities who've deleted their accounts and claimed it was the best thing they'd ever done. We've seen the wellness posts about digital detoxes, dopamine fasts, and the peace found in logging off. However, as the statistics show, for most of us, social media still plays a pivotal role in our day-to-day lives, and there's no shame in that. The apps were built to keep users in the app. The endless scroll was engineered with the same psychology as a slot machine, unpredictable rewards that light up the brain just enough to make us crave the next flick of the thumb. The fact that it's even called a feed speaks volumes, as if we're meant to be nourished by it, consuming content in small bites throughout the day. The trend is driven by a variety of factors, including a desire for better mental health, genuine human interaction, and a more balanced lifestyle in an increasingly digital world. A few other findings and trends I've noticed which show this shift taking place include the increase in sales of basic phones, or dumb phones as it's often called, where consumers are now trading in their smartphones for older phones like Nokia models without smartphone capability that can be used to just make calls and send texts. We've seen the rise of digital detox retreats and accommodation sites now adding a no Wi-Fi tag in search requests due to its demand. We've also seen the introduction of concepts like detox concierge, where mobile phones are taken away at check-in. Digital detox music festivals and smartphone-free venues, where smartphones and watches must be placed into dedicated boxes on entry. And finally, the rise of micro-influencers or micro-creators, where creators are focusing on a niche and opting for quality over quantity posts, and businesses are choosing to align with these creators, choosing authenticity over virality. Many celebrities will now openly admit they don't personally run their accounts. They have teams that post and monitor on their behalf to protect their mental health. But what does that mean for the everyday user like myself or you? The small business owner trying to stay visible, the writer sharing their work, the musician sharing their latest creation, and the everyday user who simply wants to stay informed, in the loop, or inspired. How do you stay connected without being consumed? My first marketing job whilst at university was as a sales and marketing coordinator for Accor Hotels. I was in my final year of uni and no part of my degree had any mention of social media. Social media hadn't so much become a marketing tool. Only Facebook existed, and it was a platform mainly for socializing with friends. Fast forward to 2016. I was working as a marketing manager for a shopping centre, and social media management is one of the main parts of my job. You had to post 3 times a day across both Instagram and Facebook at set intervals to ensure it aligned with the algorithm. Each platform with different posts, and all comments had to be engaged with on the day. And now, as we come to the end of 2025, the world of AI has begun to take centre stage, shaping a new dimension of social media marketing. Over the years, the line between connection and consumption has blurred, and our online presence has become an extension of how we exist in the world. Having spent a decade working in marketing and watching this evolution unfold from the inside, I've learnt that balance online doesn't just happen by accident. It takes intention. There are a few things I've adopted in order to manage my own mental health while still showing up in the digital space. But as per all my articles, I too am on the journey and always learning. Social media breaks. At various stages of my life, I have deleted Instagram as I haven't felt it was in my best interest at the time. This is obviously a common thing that people do, and it gives you time to step away and focus on other aspects of life. And I will make a point here. Just because someone doesn't actively post on social media or engage doesn't mean they're disengaged. Silently watching people's stories, viewing their content, or comparing your life to others without showing up for your own isn't mindfulness, nor is it beneficial. That is called passive participation. Part of not letting social media consume you is to reap the benefits that it can actually offer, which is to create, connect, and share. And being present is how you show up instead of the mindless scrolling. You don't want to just watch other people's lives happen through a screen instead of using the tool to expand your own. And following on from that, remember, social media, especially Instagram, is still a business tool. It exists to sell, influence, and convert. When you see that clearly, you'll view it in a completely different light. Next, much of social media is highly curated. Having done this as a job, I am acutely aware of how staged a lot of posts and campaigns are. Even the candid, blurry shots are often carefully thought out and styled. I unfollow freely. I don't follow people whose content doesn't align with my values or who I wouldn't really engage with in real life. I don't watch many social media stories, friends and family especially. This is a bit of a strange one, but it works for me. To sit on Instagram every day and feel I need to catch up on every family and friends' stories would take a big chunk of my time. I mainly watch stories of people whose content I find interesting. In terms of family and friends, social media doesn't count as connection. Next, remember it's a highlights reel. I've posted beautiful family moments, but you'll never see the toddler tantrum 10 minutes later, the 20-minute car ride of tears, or me crying in the shower. Most people show their best moments. It's not real life, and that's okay. Next, unfollowing accounts you don't interact with. If you click on your friends list, there's a category called least interacted with. Sometimes we follow accounts and forget about them or become disinterested, and it's just additional clutter. So every now and then I go through and I clear out, so the content I'm seeing I'm genuinely interested in. A quick and easy one, switching off notifications to avoid the unnecessary stimulation. And finally, the one which I feel is most important, curate your algorithm. My feed right now is full of parenting, astrology, cooking, and fashion, things that I'm genuinely interested in. What you engage with is what the algorithm will serve you. So if your feed is starting to make you anxious or drained, start feeding it with something different, because it will make a huge difference. So with that said, in 2026 I see a mix. Some choosing to disconnect completely, but more so, people showing up on social media in a healthy way that serves them and not the platform. By curating what you see, choosing what you share, being selective in who you follow, and taking intentional pauses, it is possible to remain connected without being consumed. And maybe this is the essence of the Great Unplugging. And with that, I leave you to reflect on how you show up in the digital space in 2026, a year of new beginnings. For this week's Serenaid, I've chosen the 2008 song Paper Planes by M.I.A.